What is up, guys? We are live and we are fucking ready for today. We are going to be reading from letters from a Stoic. You already know we're keeping the series going. Just got done with a math exam. Pretty sure I did fucking good. It was just imaginary numbers, real and complex numbers. Um, I did think I did pretty exuberant, one could say, with the fancy letters, if you would so choose to. Okay, wait up. So, wait a minute. I think we're on 40, 45, 6, 7, 8. We're on letter 48 from Letters from a Stoic. Seneca, let's hope that you're fucking cooking it up. Yeah, we're gonna be streaming for 30 minutes, and I believe that we're gonna be playing with my friend Shun today. What game do you think that me and Shun should play? Should we get on IDV? Or should we play Dead by Daylight or League of Legends? I was thinking about that. Hmm. I'm thinking IDV after, but I don't know, guys. What do we think? Letter 48. Let me get my pencil out. I shall reply later to the letter you sent me while you were on your journey. It was as long as the journey itself. I must first take myself aside and deliberate what advice I should give for you yourself before consulting me as you are doing. Gave long thought to the question whether you should consult me at all. I guess like don't fucking talk with me. Don't you fucking talk with me. So I ought to be giving this question and of advice far longer thought, on the principle that it takes you more time to solve a problem than to set it. Particularly when one course is to your interest and another to mine, or does this make me sound like an Epicurean again? That is a funny fucking thing. I am say Epicurean student from Epicurus. I'm assuming that's what it means. That's hilarious as fuck. Hashtag fuck Epicurus. Hashtag fuck Epicurus. Oh wait, I didn't mean that, guys. TikTok, I did not mean that. No, if a thing is in your interest, it is also in my own interest. Otherwise, if any matter that affects you is no concern of mine, I am not a friend. Friendship creates a community. Oh, what the heck? I am not a friend. Friendship creates a community of interest between us in everything. We have neither successes nor setbacks as individuals. Our lives have a common end. No one can lead a happy life if he thinks only of himself and turns everything to his own purpose. You should live for the other person if you wish to live for yourself. The acidus and sculpturous cultivation of this bond, which leads to our associating with our fellow men, and believe in the existence of a common law for all mankind, contributes more than anything else to the maintenance of the most intimate bond. I was mentioning friendship. A person who shares much with a fellow human being will share everything with a friend. What I what I ugh, let me re fucking start over. What I should like those subtle thinkers, you know the ones I mean. My peerless Lucilius. We're not talking to Lucilius, we're talking about Lucilius. I love Lucilius, sorry. I mean my peerless Lucilius. To teach me is this. Oh no, this is Lucilius. What my duties are to a friend, and to man rather than the number of senses in which the expression friend is used and how many different meanings of the word man has. Before my very eyes, wisdom and folly are taking their separate stands. Which shall I join? Let me. Uh, whose side am I to follow? For one person, man is the equivalent to friend, for another man and friend, and far from being identified and in making a friend, one man will be seeking an asset while another will be making himself an asset to the other. And in the midst of all this, what you people do for me is pull words about and cut up syllables. One is led to believe that unless one has constructed syllogisms. Yo, what's up, P6Ls? We're gonna play IDV today, of the craftiest kind, and reduce fallacies to a compact form in which a false conclusion is derived from a true premise. One will not be in a position of distinguish what one should aim at and what one should avoid. It makes one ashamed that men of our advanced years should turn a thing as serious as this into a game. Mouse is a syllable, and a mouse nibbles cheese. Therefore, a syllable nibbles cheese. That is whenever some motherfuckers ever hit me with, or whenever my cousin's talking about, like, he'll use that same like font. It's like mouse is a syllable, and a mouse nibbles cheese. Therefore, a syllable nibbles cheese. That is like my favorite thing about it. Like, that is the funniest shit ever. Yo, I love Blossom 3. Thank you for the light, Cody. Suppose for the moment I can't detect the fallacy in that. What danger am I placed in by such lack of insight? What serious consequences are there in it for me? What I have to fear, no doubt, is the possibility one of these days of my catching a syllable in a mousetrap, or even having my cheese eaten up by a book if I'm not careful. Unless perhaps the following train of logic is more accurate one. Mouse is a syllable, and a syllable does not nibble cheese. Therefore, a mouse does not nibble cheese. What childish, what childish fatuities there are. These are. Is this what we philosophers acquire wrinkles in our brows for? Is this what we let our beards grow long for? Is this what we teach with faces grave and pale? Bro had a fucking whole new thought process on philosophy. Shall I tell you what philosophy holds out to humanity? Counsel: one person is facing death, another is vexed by poverty, while another is tormented by wealth, whether his own or someone else's. One man is appalled by his misfortunes, while another longs to get away from his own prosperities. One man is suffering at the hands of men, and another at the hands of God. What the what's the point of concocting whimsies for me of the sort I've been mentioning? This isn't the place for fun. You've called in to help the unhappy. You've pledged to bring succor to the shipwrecked, to those in captivity, to the sick, the needy, and men who are just placing their heads beneath the executioner's uplifted axe. Where are you off to? What are you about? The person you're engaging in wordplay with is in fear. Go to his aid. What the fuck is Campbell? Campbell here notes the text for 3 or 4 words is corrupt to the point of being untranslated. Go to his aid, and then there's a blank. So all mankind are stretching out their hands to you on every side. Lives that have been. BRB, what did you help your brother with? That lives that have been ruined. Lives that are on the way to ruin are appealing for some help. It is to you that they look for hope. It is to you that they look for hope and assistance. They are begging you to extricate them from this awful vortex, to show them in their doubt and disarray the shining torch of truth. Tell them what nature has made necessary and what she has made superfluous. Well, yo, mommy, how are you doing? Tell them how simple are the laws she has laid down, and how straightforward and enjoyable life is for those who follow them, and how confused and disagreeable it is for others who put more trust in popular ideas than they do in nature. All right, if you can point out to me where those puzzles are likely to bring such people relief, which of them removes cravings or brings them under control? If only they were simply unhelpful. They're actually harmful. I'll give you the clearest proof whether you like of their tendency to weaken and enfeeble even eminent talents once applied to such quibbles. What the fuck is a quibble quabble? What are we talking about? If only they were simply unhelpful. They're actually harmful. I'll give you the clearest proof, whether you like of their tendency to weaken and infable, even emanate talents once applied to such quibbles. And when it comes to saying how they equip people proposing to do battle with fortunate and what weapons they offer them, one hangs one's head with shame. Is this the way to our supreme ideal? Do we get there by means of all that if x comma y or if y comma z one finds in philosophy, and if it means of quibbles that would be shameful and discreditable even among persons occupying themselves with law reports, when they're leading the person you're questioning into a trap, aren't you just making it look as if he has lost his case on a purely technical point of pleading? The predator's court, however, restores litigants losing in this way of their rightful position in philosophy. Does the same for the people thus question why do philosophers like you abandon the magnificent promises you've made after assuming me in solemn terms that you will see to it that my eyes shall no more be overwhelmed by the glitter of gold than by the glitter of a sword, that I shall spurn with magnificent strength of purpose the things all other men pray for, and the things all other men are afraid of. Why do you have to descend to the schoolroom ABC? What do you say? Is this the way to is the way to the heavens? For what is for that is what philosophy has promised me, that she will make me God's equal. That's the invitation, and that's what I've come for. Be as good as you were your word. What the fuck? Talking about God is finna make, or Mother Nature is finna make you the same thing as God because you want to learn knowledge. I mean, if becoming God was a knowledge gap, low key that would hit. Spermatagon? Is that an actual movie, or are you just trying to say sperm? Wait. I've come for, or wait, that's the invitation I've come for. Be as good as your word. Keep clear, then, my dear Lucilius, as far as you can, of the sort of quibbles and qualifications I've been mentioning in philosophers. Straightforwardness and simplicity are in keeping with goodness. Even if you had a large part of your life remaining before you, you would have to organize it very economically to have enough for all the things that are necessary as things are. Isn't it the height of folly to learn inessential things when time's so desperately short? Oh shit. God of Go3. Wait, what is Go3? Are you talking about God of War? Wait a minute. Give me 1 second. We're gonna look this shit up. What the? We're looking up spermatagon. This shit sounds great. Spermatagon. This is not real. What the fuck are we talking about? We are lying. Apparently, this is a real movie. This is European as fuck. Bro, what the fuck are we watching? What is Spermatagon? Spermagadon. Or what is let me read it out properly. Let me read the chat. Spermatagon. Everyone tap into Spermatagon. Everybody lock in. I repeat, Spermatagon, here we come. Everybody, Spermatagon. We are all having the Spermatagon watch party. Bro, what the fuck do they have y'all watching in Europe? Straight up. Like, what is that? I wouldn't want to watch that. That looks like Wislop. Saw it in class. Is it a good movie? Did they get bait? Did they get pregnant? Some random day. Oh wait, is Spermatagon? Did they have a kid? I think we're on 53 now. Letter 53. Okay, we're gonna read this last letter and then we're gonna hop on the game. So everyone be prepared. Yes. Whoa, only one more letter. Woohoo. Letter 53. I laying my pencil out. I wonder whether there's anything I could be persuaded into now, after letting myself be persuaded recently into taking a trip by sea. The sea was quite calm when we cast off. The sky was certainly heavily overcast, with the kind of dark clouds that generally break in a squall or downpour, but in spite of the uncertain, threatening skies, I thought it would be perfectly feasible to make it across the few miles from your Parthenope over to Puteoli. And so, with the object of getting the crossing over quicker, I headed straight for Nessus over the open water to cut out all the intervening curves of the coastline. Now, when I had got so far across that it made no odds whether I went on or turned back, first of all, the smoothness which had tempted me to my undoing disappeared. There was no storm as yet, but a heavy swell was running by then, and the waves were steadily getting rougher. I began asking the helmsman to put me ashore somewhere. He kept saying the coast was a rugged one, without a haven anywhere, and that there was nothing he feared quite as much in a storm as a lee shore. I don't know any of these fucking boating terms. I was in far too bad a way, though, for any thought of possible danger to enter my head, as I was suffering the torments of the sluggish brand of seasickness that will not bring one relief, the kind that upsets the stomach without clearing it. So I put pressure on him and compelled him willy-nilly to take me for the shore. Once we were close, and there was no waiting on my part for anything to be done. In the matter commended by Virgil, bows faced seawards, or anchor cast from bow. Remembering my training as a long-standing devotee of cold baths. What the fuck? Were we just? This is the fucking diary. This guy genuinely just talks about whatever. A long-standing devotee of cold baths. So we got a fucking man of class here, I guess. I divided into the sea in just the way a cold water addict ought to. In my woolly clothes, you can imagine what I suffered as I crawled out over the rocks as I searched for a route to safety, or fought my way there. It made me realize how right sailors are in being afraid of lee shore. When I endured in my inability to endure my then self, is beyond belief. You can take it from me that the reason Ulysses got himself wrecked everywhere was not so much because Neptune was against him from the day he was born, but because he was given to seasickness like me. It'll take me 20 years to reach my destination too, if I ever have to journey anywhere by sea. As soon as I settle my stomach, for stomachs as you know, aren't clear of seasickness the moment they're clear of the sea, and rub myself over with embrocation to put some life back into my body. I began to reflect how we are attended by an appalling forgetfulness of our weaknesses, even the physical ones which are continually bringing themselves to our notice. And much more so with those that are not only more serious but correspondingly less apparent. A slight feverishness may deceive a person, but when it has developed to the point where a genuine fever is raging, it will extract an admission that something is wrong from even a tough and hardened individual. Suppose our feet ache. With a little kneading, pains in the joints, at this stage we pass it off and say we've sprained an ankle or strained something in some excessive or in some exercise or other, while the disorder is in its in detriment commencing phase. Its name eludes us, but once it starts bending the feet in just the way an ankle rack does and makes them both misshapen, we have to confess that we've got the gout. Oh, okay. With afflictions of the spirit, through the opposite is the case. The worse a person is, the less he feels it. You needn't feel surprised, my dearest Lucilius. A person sleeping lightly perceives impressions in his dreams and is sometimes even aware during sleep that he is asleep. Wow, so they were even trying to put sense to dreams in this shit, and is sometimes okay aware during that he is asleep, whereas a heavy slumber blots out even dreams and plunges the mind too deep for consciousness of self. Why does no one admit his failings? Because he's still deep in them. It's the person who's awakened who recounts his dreams, and acknowledging one failing is a sign of health. So let us rot ourselves, so that we may be able to demonstrate our errors. But only philosophy will wake us. Only philosophy will shake us out of the heavy sleep. Devote yourself entirely to her. You're worthy of her. She's worthy of you. Fall into each other's arms. Say firm, plain no to every other occupation. There's no excuse for your pursuing philosophy merely in the moment. When occasion allows, if you were sick, you would take a rest from attending to your personal affairs and drop your practice in the courts. And during a spell of improvement in your condition, you wouldn't look on any client as being so important that you'd undertake his case in court. No, you'd devote your entire attention to recovering from your illness in the quickest way possible. Yeah, on God. That ass, like, you wouldn't, if you're sick, you would just continue to. Yo, did I lock in too much? Was I like this? Yeah, I think I was. Well, then, aren't you going to do the same in these circumstances? Away with every obstacle and leave yourself free to acquire a sound mind. No one ever attains that if he's busy with other things. Philosophy wields an authority of her own. She doesn't just accept time, she grants one. She grants it. She's not something one takes up in odd moments. She's an active, full-time mistress. Ever present and demanding when some state or other offered Alexander a part of its territory and half of all its property, he told them that he hadn't come to Asia with the intention of accepting whatever they cared to give him, but of letting them keep whatever he chose to leave them. That is tough as fuck. Holy fuck, Alexander the Great is actually that hard. Philosophy, likewise, tells all other occupations, it's not my intention to accept whatever time is left over from you. You shall have instead what I rejected. Wait. It's not my intention to accept whatever time is left over from you. You shall have instead what I reject. Stop talking and get on Breath of the Wild. Yo, can we ban him? I don't know if I'll do Breath of the Wild today. It's gonna be a multiplayer stream today for the gaming one. Hi Danny, how are you doing though? Thank you so much, P6Ls. You're not banning your number one source of income. Bro, we need to get out the hood. We need to get out the hood. Start sending me to your co-workers. Let me We're almost done with the book though. We're almost done, guys. Just kidding. We need like 100 more something pages, but that is 100. We are 100 pages less. You know, we needed 200 pages. Now we don't need that many more pages, and we learn more stuff about the book. Also, what are you doing right now, Danny Chan? Okay, give your whole mind to her. Sit at her side and pay her constant court. And an enamorous gap will widen between yourself and other men. Wow, he's thinking about we gonna be on DBD Jason chapter. Is that real? No, it's okay. It's just a joke. It's okay, P6Ls. You watching helps a lot. Uh, if you want to watch and it kind of gives me more bread, you can always go on the Twitch. Okay, an enormous gap will widen between yourself and other men. You'll end up far in advance of all mankind, and not far behind the gods themselves. Would you like to know what the actual difference between yourself and the gods will be? They will exist for longer, and yet to me, what an indisputable mark it is of a great artist to have captured everything in a tiny compass. That's a tough one. A wise man has as much scope before him as a god with all eternity in front of him. Holy fucking tough. There is one thing too, in which the wise man actually surpasses any god. A god has nature to thank for his immunity from fear, while the wise man can thank his own efforts for this. Look at that for an achievement. To have all the frailty of a human being and all the freedom from care of a god. Philosophy's power to blunt all the blows of circumstances beyond belief. Never a missile lodges in her. She has strong, impenetrable defenses. Some blows she breaks the force of parrying them with the slack of her gown, as if they were trivial. Others she flings off and hurls back at the sender. That's kind of tough. Oh my, wait. Nom 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 nom. Yummy donut. 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 Nom nom nom. Yummy donut, num 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 num. Yummy donut, num 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 num. Yummy donut, num 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 num. Nummy donut, num 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 num. Yummy donut, num 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 num. Yummy donut. Thank you, Danny. Okay, pretty good read today. We finished some of that. Now, yes, so we are going to check the messages between me and the Shunshin Water. Where's my phone at? I need to find my phone. I lost it and I found it. There we go. So we need to get Chin Chin Mario in here. Where is Chin Chin Mario? Chin Chin Mario.